Welcome to Calgary Conversations, a podcast of the City of Calgary where we aim to have frank conversations with city leaders about the issues and topics impacting Calgarians.
Please stand behind the yellow line.
My name is Jose Rodriguez. I am the leader of Media Relations and Employee Communications at the City, and I'm happy to be your host. Welcome back to Calgary Conversations. And we know Calgarians are tired of hearing about water restrictions in the Bearspaw South Feeder Main. But we thought it was important to create this opportunity to speak with our General Manager of Infrastructure Services, Michael Thompson, to get a feel of where we are and where we're going. So with that, welcome to the show, Michael.
Oh, thanks for having me here, Jose.
So maybe we can start with, how did we get here?
Yeah, it feels like a long time, but also a short time. And so if we go back, we installed a pipe back in the 1970s that we thought was going to last 100 years. And as we found out in the summer of 2024, it isn't lasting 100 years. And the pipe is now terminally ill, and we need to replace it. And so we are working to replace this pipe. It's a pipe that runs from the Bearspaw water treatment plant. The City of Calgary has two water treatment plants, the Bearspaw water treatment plant and the Glenmore water treatment plant. The Bearspaw plant is our newer plant. Built in the 70s, this pipe was meant to carry the majority of the water from that plant to the city. And we've got challenges now with it. And so we are working through those challenges, as Calgarians know. And we appreciate everyone's patience. Like you said at the opening, we don't want to be here. We don't want to have water restrictions and being talking about this. But unfortunately, it's where we're at right now. So we really appreciate Calgarians' support and assistance as we go into water restrictions to repair and replace this pipe.
So now there are a million moving pieces when it comes to the actual work, when it comes to the construction. Can you give us a Coles Notes of what's being fixed and over what period of time?
Yeah, so there's a few projects going on right now. So maybe I'll start at what's the long game? And the long game is to replace this pipe with a new steel pipe. And so that really goes from the Shaganappy pump station. If you've been near Edworthy Park, you'll see a building as you pull in. There's a sign on that Shaganappy pump station. That's where water is coming from the Bearspaw water treatment plant. That pump station distributes it across the city. And we need to replace about 6 kilometers of pipe from that location to the northwest through the communities of Montgomery and Bowness. And that work is underway right now. You may have heard the mayor talking about doing in 1 year what would normally take 4 years. And that's the new replacement pipe. We'll have that operational by December of this year. Once that's in operation, that removes the problem that we have. We get rid of this having to rely on this PCCP pipe or this pre-stressed concrete cylindrical pipe. We'll move that problem out of our inventory. We'll have a brand new steel pipe, and we can all sleep easier at the end of the night. Until that pipe, that new steel pipe is in place, we're going, and we really have to use kid gloves to keep this existing PCCP pipe operational. And so we're going to go in starting on March the 9th, and we're going to do some concrete reinforcements similar to what we did in the summer of 2024 and the fall of 2024 on 9 segments of that pipe. And it's really the 9 worst segments that are deteriorated the most. And we're doing that work to try and prevent it from breaking before the new pipe is installed. We're also going to go and fix some valves. We've got some valves that are older that are leaking and not working well. We need those valves operational. So we're going to go and fix those valves at the same time. That work starts March 9th and should take about 4 weeks.
It's important to know that until December, we are in a constant danger zone. That pipe could go at any time.
The existing pipe can break at any time. And as we learned on December 30th, we had no pre-warning that pipe was going to break. We had installed a monitoring system in the pipe following the 2024 break. It was this thing we called the acoustic fiber optic line, and it would listen. I never knew about this technology before. Learning about it with this project, we actually floated a fiber optic line through the entire pipe, and that pipe, the PCCP pipe, has a wire that wraps around. Each 4-meter length pipe has about 300 wire wraps that wrap around. And what's happening is, as the pipe is aging, chlorides from the soil are getting in, and they're corroding or rusting that wire, and that wire snaps. And as those wires snap, that piece of pipe loses structural integrity, and then it can just break. And so we've got this fiber optic line that's listening for those wire snaps. We are always anticipating that we would hear some wire snaps, and it would be a precursor to something bad happening with that pipe.
Give you some time to take some action.
Exactly. We'd have some time to shut the pipe off, go in and do some repairs like we're going to do on March 9th. What happened on December 30th is we hadn't heard anything for 2 months up until December 30th. And so we thought the pipe was operating fine. And then it just broke. And so what we really learned is you can monitor it, but there's no guarantee that you know it's going to break. And that's why we accelerated or supercharged the pipe replacement project, why we're going in and doing these 9 reinforcement sections. But the 9 sections will not give us the guarantee that it won't break again until this new pipe's installed. And so we really all need to be ready that the pipe can break anytime through the spring, summer, or fall. And if it does, we'll have to go into water restrictions while we go in and we fix whatever broke, and then we bring the pipe back into service.
How important is it to be frank and clear with Calgarians about the problem that we're facing right now?
I think it's extremely important. And so hopefully Calgarians are seeing, we're being very transparent with what we know, what we don't know, and the work we're doing to fix the problem. And so we want to make sure Calgarians know exactly where we're at. When we were doing the work in January, after the pipe broke in January or on December 30th, we were really concerned about running out of water in the city. We have a limited supply of water in the Glenmore Reservoir over the winter. And the pipe broke at the worst time because we have low inflows of water coming into the Glenmore Reservoir in the winter. And so when it broke, we were watching the reservoir volumes going down. And we got it fixed in record time. We got it back operational, which was great. But at that point in time, we had 6 weeks of water storage left in the Glenmore Reservoir. And our big concern was, what happens if it breaks again right away? And it takes us a couple more weeks to fix it. And then if that happens one more time, we could run out of water as a community. And so that's why we made the decision, as we realized that we have to get a new pipe installed, and we have to go faster than we've ever done anything before. And so we came out and we let the community know that. We started construction work within 1 week of selecting a contractor to do the work. We were moving in the field, and I went out there a month after we mobilized the site, and we are moving like mad. There is so much work happening out there at sites to get this new pipe installed. And so we're really appreciative of the community understanding that we are moving fast, that it's going to be impactful throughout the summer on that construction project. It's going to be impactful for all of Calgarians because we all need to be ready, that this pipe could break at any time until the new one's completed. And we really appreciate everyone's support, their patience, their understanding, and we're committed to being transparent and letting people know exactly what's happening.
We're getting a little bit of a glimpse into the costs. I believe admin went to council recently with a $609.5 million ask for fixing Bearspaw and other water-related fixes. Can you tell us what that money is going for?
There's about $381 million in that request that we had. And that's for the replacement pipe. That's the new steel pipe that we're going to build 6 kilometers from the Shaganappi pump station, almost to the Bow River. It's to 89th Street and the community of Bowness. And so that's to do it. There's 2 construction projects we have going. The first project is a micro-tunneling project. Mm-hmm. And so the work you'll see right now out in the field, we're actually building some they're vertical shafts. You can go on calgary.ca and we have a little video about what a micro-tunneling project looks like. And we've actually been doing it around the city for the last decade. We've been building tunnels all around the city for our water.
Like little gophers.
Yeah, we're underneath the river, we're along roads. And the interesting thing is people don't even realize we're there. We've got work happening at a site, and then we're installing pipes all around the city where we're not impacting people's commutes, we're not impacting businesses or communities. And so that's what we're doing in the community of Montgomery. And we actually will have 3 tunnel boring machines working in the month of April, installing pipe underground. You won't really see us doing the work except at those locations. In the community of Bowness, unfortunately, there's not enough of these machines in North America of the size that we need. And so we're going to go and we're going to open cut up 34th Avenue. That work starts in May and goes until October. That will be more impactful. We have to remove the road, move utilities, excavate, put a pipe in, and then put it all back together. And so again, we'll start that work in May and work through until about October. Those two things, those two projects together will be the 6 kilometers of new pipe that we're doing. So there's a lot of work happening there. And so going back to the money that we've asked for from council, again, $381 million was for those 2 projects, which is the replacement pipe. We had about $40 million in there for the reinforcements. That includes the 9 segments we're going to be doing starting March 9th for 4 weeks. We've also put money in there should we need to go do other reinforcement work. And so that would be included in this $40 million. And then we included $18 million, and $18 million was for what's called slip lining. Mm-hmm. What we're going to do is we're going to take that existing PCCP pipe that is really terminally ill, as we've been saying, and we're going to slide a new pipe inside of it. And so we'll slide a new pipe in, basically giving us a brand new pipe that we can use. So we have a redundant pipe beside it. The challenge we have is you can't slide a new pipe in while the existing pipe's full of water. And so that's why we have to build the new steel pipe, turn off the existing pipe, and then we'll slide the new one inside of it. And so $18 million is the start of that project. It'll cost more. We're working on the design of that right now. And then we've got a couple other asks in there. One is to accelerate what we call the North Calgary servicing project. We're building a new water feeder main from the Bearspaw water treatment plant north, just over 20 kilometers of length. That work's underway right now, but we're accelerating that. We really want to make sure we're getting more redundancy across the entire network so that we don't have problems like this going forward. So there's actually bringing some money forward. So it's not new money. It's just we need that money sooner.
Spend it earlier.
Yeah, so we can spend it earlier. And then we had some money in there for advanced metering work. We're out installing water meters all across the city. We've got challenges with our water network. We're losing over 20% of our water to leaks across the network. And we're not sure where those leaks are. And so we're putting meters in all across the network and new meters in people's homes so that we can really measure and understand and hunt down where those leaks are. And so this is part of that work that we're doing. We've increased our inspections of our water network. We have over 5,000 kilometers of water pipe across the city of Calgary. Last year, we inspected over 1,000 kilometers. And so we're out inspecting, looking for leaks. We're installing meters to find leaks. We're committed to making a more efficient system and committed to increasing the pipe across the city so that we're not in this position again.
Now, addressing aging infrastructure, it doesn't come from a magic pot of money that we've hidden somewhere, right? There is a cost to Calgarians and users. Can you tell us a little bit about what we might see in our utility bills come next year?
Yeah, so in the reports that we brought forward, we're very clear and transparent. Again, going back to being transparent with Calgarians, this is going to cost more money as we build more infrastructure. And so in the report, we said we expect bringing this money forward as well as some additional money for staff. It takes people to build all these projects. It takes people to run all this infrastructure. And it takes operators to make sure we're operating everything well and we're inspecting what we have. And so we had over $20 million for additional staff from our operations and our delivery teams. If you take that with the capital work, it'll be about a 14% increase to our utility rates. That's not happening right now. That goes to the fall budget for discussion with council, but we wanted to make sure they understood what the impact to a utility rate bill would be.
And so that could be up to $17 a month for like the average house. Is that right?
That's right. So it'd be up to $17 a month for the average house. And everyone uses a different amount of water. And that's why we say the average house. So obviously, some people will be a bit more than that. Some people would be a bit less than that. And that's up to. And we have to go to council in the fall to get those rates approved.
Now, when we had our initial June 2024 feeder main break, shortly thereafter, we convened an expert panel to take a look at our water system, headed by the prestigious Siegfried Kiefer, formerly of Canadian Utilities, who put together a basically best-in-class team of experts to tell us what's wrong with our utility. And what did you learn from there, and what are we doing?
Yeah, so it was a really interesting process because we brought the panel together, and they didn't report to council and they didn't report to administration. It's the first time we think we've seen anyone do this in Canada where it was truly an independent panel. And we said, go and take a look through everything. And we were very open. Siegfried and the panel had access to go talk to whoever they wanted within the city, look at any documents they wanted, and talk to other parties as well. And they went and they spent a number of months doing a lot of work. And I really commend them and thank them for all the work they did. And what they came back with was they thought we needed to increase our urgency, that we had problems that we weren't addressing and we needed to move faster. They thought our risk tolerance, we were taking too much risk, and they felt we needed to make changes. And so we've started that work. We continue to work with the panel right now. They're advising us as we go forward. They're a great group of experts and really committed Calgarians that just want to see the city get better. And they're committed to Calgary being a great place. And so we continue to work with them as we're looking at what do we do to accelerate the projects. And it's interesting. I've said to council before, the amount of work that we're doing right now is so much more than we've ever done. In 2022, the entire capital budget across the City of Calgary was $1.1 billion. In 2026, the utility department's budget will be significantly more than that. Across the entire city, we'll be spending more than $4 billion in capital this year. And the utility, we're spending well over $1 billion in capital. And so we are building projects all across the city to improve the redundancy of the system. And redundancy really means if we have a pipe break, we can use another pipe to move water. It's as simple as that. And so we need to make sure that we've got redundant infrastructure across the entire city. The challenge we have is these projects take a while to build. They're not fast and easy things when you see the scale of what we need to do. It's going to take us years to catch up. And so we're working away on that. Our risk tolerance is we're really looking at, we used to look at our infrastructure and we'd say, what's the probability something's going to break and what's the consequence? And if it had a higher probability, we would really focus on that. The consequence we didn't focus as much on. And what happened with Bearspaw was it had a low probability of breaking, we thought, but a really high consequence. So we never shut it off to inspect it because it would impact Calgarians. We were about to do that inspection when 2024, when it broke the first time. What we've learned from that is we need to go and we need to inspect all of the infrastructure. We need to think about the consequence of failure of our infrastructure. We need to work to get rid of those single points of failure. So we're building more redundant infrastructure through everything. And so we're focused on doing that work right now. And so those are some of the key learnings that the panel had shared with us. They had a lot of other things as well about our structure, what we need to do from a reorganization of that work, and some of the positions in how we're organized. And so we're working on that right now. So we've got a lot of work underway, not just out in the field building pipes, not in the plants, not just in the plants, keeping everything running, but organizationally as well. Working to fix things so that we can improve and we can get better.
Another one, and you sort of hinted at it, is a municipally controlled corporation to oversee the utility itself. And I know that there's some work happening on that. It has to be a little tough to hear that kind of criticism from that expert group, though, given that we have very proud employees at the City of Calgary, whether they're engineers or someone who's working on, digging the trench that's going to hold the pipe. It had to be a little bit tough. How did you deal with that?
Yeah, it's a great question. It is challenging. It's tough. It's tough when you get news like that. But at the end of the day, I work with a great team of committed individuals. To your point, we've got hundreds actually in the utility. We have over 1,000 employees, committed people, really focused on delivering great service.
And that was pointed out in the review as well. In fairness, yeah.
And the panel said, panel pointed out the commitment of staff and just the quality and the competence of the staff there as well. But again, we weren't controlling what the panel was saying. We said, go and give us your independent thoughts on what you think we need to do to be better. And they came back and they said, with something as critical as drinking water, where it is so vital and so foundational to a community, that we need to make sure we've got a dedicated group of people who are looking after that and really focused on that work. And it's something that when you think about it, I don't disagree with them. And so they weren't saying that they thought the people working here weren't committed. They're saying they're great people, competent people, committed people, but we need to make sure we're giving them the resources and the focus.
And the structure.
And 100% in the structure. And so that's what you saw us doing when we brought the report forward with the request for more resources, bringing in more staff to support the work that's happening with respect to moving to a municipally controlled corporation or a structure like NMAX is, where the city is the sole shareholder. We're doing work on that right now. We have to go back and talk to council about that. That's one of the things we have to do the work, and then council has to approve that going forward. But even before we get there, we're creating a separate water department right now. We're out hiring a new chief operating officer to lead that work. We're creating that structure right now. So we're going to give that team the focus and the dedication that it needs to be successful. And we're taking the lessons we learned from this report and from the work, and we're looking at everything else we're doing. We're not just focused on how do we improve the water system and the delivery of the water system. We're focused on learning these lessons to improve everything we're doing at the City of Calgary. And I know that my role on the executive leadership team at the City of Calgary is how do I improve all of the services that we're delivering for Calgarians. And so I can tell you, we've had a lot of hard, tough conversations about that. And we're really focused on improving the quality of our delivery across the city.
So getting back to the construction, it is the city and some of our neighbors as a whole who benefit, but it is Montgomery and Bowness that pay the price as far as the disruption, the construction, everything else. What are we doing for those communities?
I'd really say three communities. So Bowness, Montgomery, and Parkdale. And so we've been really in all those three communities from 2024 and now through this year as we do that work. And so I have to just say thank you to those communities. I know that they've really been impacted, and we're trying to reduce the impact to them as we go forward. At the same time, like I said, in January of this year, we were looking at what happens if we run out of drinking water. Mm-hmm. And so that's why we have to get this work done as fast as possible this year so that we're not in that position this winter, that we've got a new pipe so that we're not thinking about what happens if this pipe breaks and we don't have that water supply. And so we're out, we're working with the community. We've actually created a community hub at the Bowness Community Association where people can come in. We've got resources there to support residents and support businesses. We've got a group of people called our Community and Business Relations team. We're out talking to businesses door to door to find out what they need, how we can help them as we do this work. Luckily, the micro-tunneling work that's happening in Montgomery right now, like I said, it's happening and a lot of people don't even know about it. We're 3 large construction sites in some parks right now that are working away. We'll have 2 other ones that we're starting, one in another green space. We do have to close 16th Avenue down to 1 lane each direction in the community of Montgomery while we build another project that will be coming up. But it really limits the impact to the community of Montgomery. And so I know the businesses are thankful for that, but they're concerned. They're concerned about what does this mean? Will people stay away from our businesses? And if we have detours or road impacts, are there going to be more people driving through and so many people that no one stops at our business? And so we're asking everyone to go and shop local, shop in the communities of Bowness, Montgomery, and Parkdale, support those businesses. And we definitely thank everyone for their patience as we do this work.
One of the things that I always hear is, well, what exactly does running out of water mean? Does that mean that the fire hydrants don't work, or that hospitals can't use water, or does it mean my tap doesn't work? What exactly does it mean?
There's really two things. And so in January, we were worried about physically running out of water. Like I said, the Glenmore Reservoir only holds a certain amount of water. And a lot of people think, oh, it's really big. It holds a ton of water and there's a lot of supply there. We literally were 6 weeks from running out of all of the water in the Glenmore Reservoir. That's a scary thing to think about. And so in January, it was physically running out of water. We're lucky now that the inflows have started. The warm weather we had in January and February, we had good snow melt. The reservoir volumes come up, and we're not worried about actually running out of physical water right now. What we're worried about is running out of treated water. And so the water treatment plants, again, the Glenmore water treatment plant and the Bearspaw water treatment plant, they take the water from the Elbow or the Bow River, and we're a big city on two small rivers. Most other cities are on really large rivers, really large water bodies. When you think about the Bow and the Elbow River, they're actually quite small. Go to Edmonton the next time and look at the size of the river running through the middle of Edmonton or through Lethbridge. They're quite a lot larger river bodies. And so we've got to take that water from those rivers and we treat it through those two water treatment plants, and then we store it in tanks underground. So we've got about a day's worth of water stored in tanks underground that we then pipe to your homes for use. Well, we've got the Bearspaw water treatment plant reduced because of that Bearspaw Feeder Main being out of service. If we have a problem at the Glenmore plant and we can't produce as much water, we rely heavily on those underground storage tanks. And if we can't keep filling those underground storage tanks because Calgarians are using more than 500 million liters of water a day, we'll slowly deplete the volume. And so what does it mean? It means we might not have water to fight fires. It means if those storage tanks go too low, we might have to put a boil water advisory across the entire city. And it would take a long time to get that lifted because we would have to flush and clean all of the pipes across the entire city. And it might mean that we physically run out of treated drinking water, which would be a huge problem. And so that's why we're asking Calgarians to really help us. We just need help during this 4 weeks while we've got the Bearspaw South Feeder Main out of service. And it's interesting, I was looking last week, we've got a dashboard on calgary.ca. You can go in, just go to calgary.ca and look for a water dashboard. You can see what our daily water consumption is across the entire city. Back to transparency, you can look how much water do we use every day. And all we're asking people to do is three simple things. Skip some flushes of your toilets, take shorter showers, and reduce the use of water in your, reduce your loads in your washing machine and your dishwasher, and only run them when they're full. If people do those things, saving about 25 liters of water a day, we'll hit that 500 million target and we'll all be good.
Is there anything else that I've forgotten to ask you?
I think we've covered a lot. And it's
I think like a year and a half's worth of a lot. Yeah.
And I really appreciate opportunities like this. One of the other challenges we're having is just getting the word out. And so that's why I appreciate discussions like this. I appreciate our media partners and people spreading the word on social media. I was at a dinner party a couple of weeks ago, and I was talking to someone who lived in the community of Bowness, and they told me they didn't realize in January that the city was in water restrictions. And I thought, how's that possible? How do people how did they not know? And it's just a really hard thing to get that message out to everyone. And so what I really ask people is reduce water, but also share with your neighbor. Talk to your neighbor and see if they know about it. Talk to your networks and find out what are people doing to save water, because we really need to spread that word out across hundreds of thousands of homes. If we all save 25 liters of water each a day, it'll go a huge way and we'll hit that 500 million liter target. And so that's what I think the one thing would be, if we can ask people to spread the word, to help us spread the word, there's an end in sight. The end in sight is December of this year. We are working as hard as we can to get that pipe constructed, get this problem solved so that we don't have to be here again. But until we're there, we need everyone's support. We need to come together as Team Calgary. And it's not just the City of Calgary. You mentioned before that we supply water to our external partner or communities as well. So Airdrie, Chestermere, Strathmore, and Satina Nation, they all rely on water from the City of Calgary. And so we really need Team Calgary and the southern region to come together. We've done it before. I know we can do it again. We've raised that limit to that target, and I just really appreciate everyone's support as we're working through this.
And I very much appreciate you taking the time to speak with me today. And I have nothing but faith in Calgarians and the surrounding communities. I think we're going to get through this.
I have the same thing.
Thank you for joining us today. As always, we value your feedback, so please reach out to us at calgaryconversations@calgary.ca and tell us what topics you'd like covered and questions you'd like answered. Until next time, be kind to yourselves, be kind to each other, and if you see someone without a smile today, give them yours. Take care.